and welcome back to another episode of A Thousand Movies Before You Die. Today we're doing the amazing, really amazing and fun film Brother Orchid, starring really one of the greats, one of the all-time greats, Humphrey Bogart and Edward G. Robinson. And the way I did that billing there is the exact opposite as you would do it back in 1940 when this movie came out, because Edward G. Robinson was by far the more famous of the two, the bigger name, got top billing. This is one of those. This might be one of the last movies that they did together, which sort of always had Edward G. Robinson as the star and kind of the lead good guy, if you will. Sometimes he was a gangster, or whatever, but he was sort of our main guy that we're following. And Humphrey Bogart played, the heavy, the bad guy gangster. The Amazing Dr. Clitterhouse is one of these movies. Bullets or Ballots is one of these movies. There's a few of these. Key Largo is notable for the switch, right? And by the time that movie was made, I believe it's 54, you've got Bogart the star, and Edward G. Robinson is certainly not second fiddle. I mean, I would even say that Edward G. Robinson is still the big star in that, but Bogart isn't the bad guy anymore. Edward G. Robinson is, but he's definitely a sort of a you know, almost like a Anthony Hopkins in Silence of the Lambs, in that he's not the lead that we follow, but he's the big heavy in it, and that's Key Largo. But this one, the relationship is still the way it had been through the 30s, where you've got Edward G. Robinson. He is a gangster. He's the boss. He decides he's had enough. He's going to pack it all in, and it's a full on comedy. It's played for comedy, and you see him. He tells his gang, I'm just going to travel the world and have a good time, and lots of luck. And then we see him sort of traveling the world, and he buys a horse, and he's having fun, and basically sort of wasting his money. And then, of course, he decides he's had enough of that and he wants to come back. But surprise, surprise, of course, the gang doesn't want him back. Bogart is now, the boss. He's in charge. And his girlfriend, played by, hold on a second, we'll check. She's played and Southern, plays his main squeeze. She's a lot of fun. I like her in this. And then when he comes back, she's sort of dating somebody else, Ralph Bellamy, who's hilarious in this. He's sort of this really naive, very nice, sort of super rich dude, and so she's seeing him, and basically she doesn't want Bogart and Edward G. Robinson's character fighting. Their names are Sarto. I think it's Johnny Sarto. Yeah, Johnny Sarto and Jack Buck. Right. That's Robinson and Bogart, respectively. So Johnny Sarto is the boss. Jack Buck is Bogart's character, and so his girlfriend wants them to make up because she doesn't like the fact that they're fighting. Now, mind you, Bogart's already told Johnny Sarto that there's no room for him anywhere in this business anymore, and he needs to get out to pasture. And they kind of make fun of him, right, and really pull the rug out from under him. And so she's basically says, to Bogart, I'll get him there. Don't worry. I'll make sure that you guys talk. And she's completely naive about it. And Bogart just used the opportunity to try to kill him. So, he shows up. He thinks his girl has completely betrayed her. This is Edward G. Robinson. She hasn't. She waves at them, thinking they're going off to have a nice chat, but really he's going off to kill him. So Bogart and his henchmen have Edward G. Robinson, Johnny Sarto in the car. They're going to go and kill him. They drive him out in the country, and something messes up. I think he sort of gets away from them in the forest, and he runs through the forest and he escapes. And in his running away, he ends up, I think he might even have gotten shot, and he ends up wandering through the forest, and he ends up in front of this monastery, which is the monastery of the Little Brothers and the Flowers. And this is where the movie takes a complete turn. So we have this gangster film, okay, admittedly played for comedy, But it was full on gangster film, betrayal. He's going to murder him, driving him out into the forest. And then it switches to this scene with these really sweet, uh, uh, um, uh, the brothers, these monks who basically grow flowers and sell them at the market in order to make money for the orphanage and stuff like that. And so the movie is about Edward G. Robinson's character going from this real, wise talking, fast talking, wise guy, sort of, cynical about everything character to learning a completely different way of life. These brothers, they give everything away. There's a scene where they make a little bit extra profit, and he's like, "Oh, we're gonna have something special." And Richie Rob's all excited, and they're like, "We're gonna have watermelon," and he's like, "Oh, great, watermelon, right?" And then some little kid comes in, and he doesn't have shoes, so they're gonna use the watermelon money to buy shoes. And then he's like, "Well, what about the watermelon?" And then the brothers, who were so excited about the watermelon, now they're like, "Well, we don't really like watermelon anyway. We don't really care." And you see him kind of go, and this light bulb goes off. He's kind of seeing how this is just a completely different way to live, living completely for other people. He even meets a guy there who was a criminal once, and he mentions that to him, and that guy says to him, to Edward G. Robinson, we don't talk about that anymore. That was 12 years ago, and so he sees this completely different lifestyle. And then, of course, he plans his comeback and all that. And I won't spoil whether or not he comes back or not or what happens. But this movie is about his arc from gangster to gangster who goes through this complete life changing experience, and what will happen to him. Does he get his girl back? Or does she, in a twist, kind of a twist for me? I thought for sure she'd be with Jack Buck, who's Bogart's character, but no, she's with this completely naive, super nice guy that's played by Bellamy, and he's really funny, and likable, and so yeah, and I guess she's just with him because she thinks Johnny's gone, because I guess they thought he was dead. The guys who were supposed to kill him, I think, said that they killed him so that they would get the money and stuff like that. So yeah, this is the movie. It's definitely one of the thousand before you die. I would put it in my top 200 for sure. Um, Certainly the top 100 comedies of this era. I mean, for me, when I'm talking top 1,000, top 100, whatever, I'm talking between 1930 and 1960. I'm not including the movies after that. So this list would not include, the Star Warses and the Empire Strikes Back and the Rogue Ones and the yeah, I'm just mentioning Star Wars movies, and the Aliens and the Terminators and all those movies, and I'm only mentioning action films as if those are the only great films, because this great films from after 96 are escaping me right now, although there are thousands. Anyway, this list does not include those. This is the 1,000 movies pre 1960, I would say post 1930, that you need to watch before you die. So get busy watching this film, because you either get busy watching or you get busy dying. Goodbye.